When I was a kid, you was either a fan of one guy or the other. Everyone had their favourite, and those two guys are Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Now, when I was a kid, when I first started watching, it was Bret Hart. But when this guy came along, Shawn Michaels, it became him. He was my main man. And I remember WrestleMania 12, Shawn versus Bret, my favourite wrestler against my second favourite wrestler. I remember watching, thinking, oh, I wonder who I want to win, I don't really know. I was leaning towards Shawn Michaels, then one of my friends from school at the time, I was about 8 years old, 9 years old, he wanted to Bret Hart to win, so it created a bit of a rivalry between us, like, yeah, I'm a Shawn Michaels fan, he was like, oh, well, I'm a Bret Hart fan, wonder who's going to win. Well, it turned out that my man, Shawn Michaels, won, and now I'm going to review his book, Heartbreak and Triumph. Now, my key reason for wanting to read this book is because of the Bret Hart incident, not the WrestleMania 12 incident, obviously. Survivor Series 1997, the Montreal Screwjob. And I'm trying to read on the back to see if there's any. Obviously, there's going to be a mention of it somewhere, but I'm just skimming it across and I can't. I'll leave it. I won't bother. But yeah, you know, the Screwjob happened in I think November 97. Survivor Series. There we go. It's a WWE book, by the way, so it's their version of events with Shawn Michaels' take on their version of events, should I say. Publisher WWE Books, released in 2006, costing £8.99. You know, decent price. You know, it's not that expensive. You know, just decent book all over. Just have a look at this here. Inside again, coloured pictures. Anyway, yeah, highlights of the book. He talks openly about, sort of openly about the first half of his career, his first part of his career before he retired from the WWE. The main problem is that he became a born-again Christian, which obviously isn't a problem. The problem is that he sort of became sheltered in the things he was willing to tell, I personally think, and obviously because it's a WWE book, he wasn't open to tell as much as he maybe would have liked to have told in the book. And obviously he had to worry about his sport, and obviously, like, he's a main event guy, he was a main event guy obviously, but still, when he was writing this book, no one's immune, are they? So he wrote some stuff that's interesting, but also he held back. He tells a story about his early career, how he first got into the business. How we all know stories about Shawn Michaels, how much of an arsehole he was in his younger days. He admits that he was, but then at the same time he tries to reason with us and say that this is the reason why I was an arsehole, but he can't really, to me, he can't really make me think any better of him from his early days. Obviously in his second half of his career he perked up, but none of his second half career is covered in this book, although I think the start of it is, you know, the first year he came back, because it's a 2003 book, isn't it? So he talks about the click and all that, he talks about the screw job, but not in that much detail. I didn't get anything new from this at all. If you want to know about the screw job, watch Wrestling with Shadows and do your research on the internet. Don't bother reading this book. You're not going to get anything from this. Overall, this book, I'd probably give it a 5 3/4 out of 10, because I can't really say that I got anything out of it, like anything spectacular. I got a few things. That's what, like, I'd say an average book is something that's an alright read, but you don't get anything out of it. That's a 5 out of 10. Obviously, some that's a rubbish read, and that's lower than 5. That's how I do my numbers anyway. So I'd say it's about 5 3/4 or something like that, just above it, because I like Shawn Michaels. I was entertained with the book throughout, because I was hearing about stories of his career and whatnot, and I like to read those stories, but at the same time I didn't feel like I was getting the whole truth from him. When I buy this book again, I probably wouldn't buy it. I'd definitely read it again though. I'd read it if I was you, and if you've not read it, and if you like Shawn Michaels, which a lot of people do like Shawn Michaels, and I can't blame them, because, you know, I'm still a big fan of his. You know, he just retired this year, Undertaker beat him, and I hope he doesn't come back in the ring, so he cements his legacy, unlike certain other people have come back and ruined it. But yeah, that's my view.